we believe that the estimates about 1,000 are credible. We will have more information maybe from the international journalists that came in the area of Cyrenaic, in Benghazi area in Tobruk. But as far as I know from our embassy, the province of East Cyrenaic is lost.
Well, our correspondent Harry Smith is in Rome. He says it's not just the Italian government that's worried about the prospect of a wave of immigrants from Libya.
Well, what we've seen here in Rome today is a graphic example of the concern that not just the Mediterranean countries, but the whole of Europe has for the way that situations in North Africa are developing. We've had a crisis meeting of interior ministers from 6 of the countries who are most likely to be affected if there is any form of mass migration from Libya. Obviously, these interior ministers have been invited here by the Italians, but we also have the French, the Spanish, representatives from Malta, Cyprus and Greece. These are the countries who most fear any sort of mass migration if the situation in Libya degenerates any further. And they are discussing quite openly what will happen if Gaddafi falls. They're still not saying what will happen when Gaddafi falls because it's still a very fluid situation. No one on this side of the Mediterranean could quite predict how things are going to turn out, but they certainly want to be prepared for whatever they have to deal with.
Well, the east of the country has widely been reported to be under the control of the protesters, and we can bring you pictures now live from the cities of Benghazi and Tobruk, showing what appear to be thousands of people out on the streets of these cities. These are pictures coming directly from Tobruk, among the first, and Benghazi, among the first live pictures that we've managed to get out of Libya, given the crackdown that there has been on international media in the country. More on those and information when we get it. Meanwhile, Iran's President Mahmoud Ahmadinejad has been giving an opinion about these events going on in Libya. He has condemned the Libyan government's use of force and has urged the leaders there to give in to the demands of their people.
It's hard to imagine there's a person who can kill his own people or bombard them. That's really ugly. I advise strongly that everyone should allow their people to talk and reply to their demands. They lead these people. How can a ruler bombard his own people and then say if anyone speaks out, I'll kill them? This is not acceptable. People should have freedom and decision-making powers in their own future. This is their right. I think everyone in the world is very shocked at what's happening in Libya. It's really bad. I think they should heed the demands of their people. But of course, as we know, anyone who doesn't respect the will of their people, well, their fate is written.
Meanwhile, in the latest leg of his Middle East tour, Britain's Prime Minister David Cameron, visiting Qatar at the moment, has also said that all countries should condemn the violence in Libya. And he's urging UN solidarity.
Would I like us to go further and have a full United Nations Security Council resolution? Yes, I would. I think that would be good. Do I think that we should send a very clear warning to Colonel Gaddafi and to the Libyan armed forces that what they're doing is wrong and against the law? Yes, I think that we should. But it would be better if the world could move ahead as one, and this could be done through the UN Security Council. That is the best way. But I hope we'll be making further steps over the coming days to make that clear.
And it's just not just international comments. Muammar Gaddafi's support in country also appears to be disintegrating. We'll take a look at why the tribal leaders are now calling for the overthrow of the colonel. More on that in a moment. And rehabilitating former foes, Pakistan tries to reintegrate the Swat Valley's Taliban fighters.
Well, across the Indian subcontinent, we are looking at more rain showers coming into the forecast, especially down towards the south. Take a look at the forecast map. You notice down towards the very southern part of the continent, very heavy rain showers are going to start to move up. After that, we are going to be seeing some clouds pushing up, especially towards parts of Hyderabad. For New Delhi, though, 22 degrees for you. You are going to be seeing some rain just to the north towards the Himalayas, as well as some heavier snow in the upper elevations. But good news for Sri Lanka, we are looking at partly cloudy conditions and very dry for you, so you can finally dry out from all that flooding you did have. Over towards Africa, we are going to be seeing some very heavy rain showers along the coast of South Africa, Durban, as well as Johannesburg. Your temperatures are going to get into the mid to upper 20s, but Cape Town is looking beautiful at 28 degrees. Madagascar, that is not a cyclone. We're still seeing a lot of tropical weather there, but the cyclone has passed, but flooding is still a big potential in their forecast. Up towards the Arabian Peninsula, temperatures are coming up. We are looking at Doha of about 27 degrees on Thursday, Riyadh about 31. Those temperatures are going to start to come up a little bit as we go towards the weekend. Notice here, Doha at 28, Riyadh at 33, and as we go a little bit further towards the north, we're going to be seeing Baghdad looking at temperatures of about 27 degrees for them.
Afghanistan is faced with a huge challenge.
Relations have gone really sour between us and our allies.
We have inflicted considerable damage on the enemy.
The people who make international headlines.
Ultimately, the truth will out.
They want to stop this publication of information that embarrasses them.
Make time for Sir David Frost. Frost over the world. On AlJazeera.
Hello again, you're watching Al Jazeera, a recap of our main story, and that is the ongoing developments in Libya. We're managing to get you some pictures now out of Libya, the west of the country, in particular the towns of Benghazi and Tobruk. These pictures we're managing to get out show, it would appear, crowds gathering on the streets. These are protesters, anti-Gaddafi protesters, calling for the removal of the country's leader. Those cities have said now to be under the control of the protest groups, with no government troops in evidence at all. Meanwhile, a Libyan plane carrying Colonel Gaddafi's daughter has been turned away from Malta as it tried to land. This follows reports out of Lebanon that a private jet with the wife of one of Gaddafi's sons was also stopped from landing in Beirut a couple of days ago. Also, Major General Suleiman Mahmoud, the commander of the army in Tobruk, has told Al Jazeera that one Libyan Air Force pilot refused to bomb the city of Benghazi, choosing instead to eject from his plane, and the general has told us his forces are now backing the anti-government protesters. Italy's foreign minister says the death toll in Libya is now higher than 1,000. He believes those reports to be credible. He also says he's expecting up to 300,000 Libyan refugees to try to make their way to Italy. And as the unrest continues, France and Germany have been talking about sanctions on Libya. The European Union is saying the violence could amount to crimes against humanity. Well, Muammar Gaddafi has spent much of his political career trying to win the loyalty of the country's numerous tribes, but it now seems that any fragile alliance